Where the World Plays. DP World ILT20 is back with Season 4. Get ready for Season 4 of the DP World International League T20, the UAE's premier cricket and entertainment experience, live from December 2nd to January 4th across Dubai, Abu Dhabi and Sharjah cricket stadiums. Featuring 6 powerhouse franchise teams, including the Abu Dhabi Knight Riders, the Desert Vipers, the Dubai Capitals, the Gulf Giants, the MI Emirates and the Sharjah Warriors, the tournament promises to showcase the world's top T20 stars. Fans can enjoy enhanced matchday experiences at Dubai International Stadium, including the Sixes Lounge for premium hospitality and the Sixes Family Lounge with Santa's Grotto and festive activities. The all-new Christmas Wonderland will transform match days into holiday-themed festivals with live entertainment, food stalls, games, giveaways and attractions, while families in Abu Dhabi and Sharjah can visit Santa's Grotto for gifts and photos. The excitement builds further with daily raffle draws offering shopping vouchers and luxury staycations, plus a mega prize of 4 gold coins and a brand new Audi A3. Combining world-class cricket, family fun and festive celebration, DP World ILT20 Season 4 is the UAE's biggest winter celebration of sport and community. For tickets, use the link in the description and go to Virgin Megastore Tickets now.
Hello, Ishan.
Hi, Sam.
How's it going?
It's going well. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for coming. I know it's late in the day. Traffic's a nightmare. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I really appreciate you coming down. For everybody watching, please introduce yourself and who are you and what do you do?
So I'm Ishan Chopra. I work in cricket in the UAE. Specifically, I head partnerships for the DP World International League T20 and the Emirates Cricket Board, which is the official body for cricket in the region.
Fantastic. Now, you've worked in sport for a long time.
Yeah.
And I wanted to ask, what's your first memory of sport?
My first memory of sport is actually in football.
Okay.
Of course, like, you know, by being Indian, by default, generally it's cricket. But in my case, obviously we were watching sport here and there, which presumably must have been cricket. But when I got into serious sport, it was when I traveled for my summer vacations to Zambia, because that's where my mother is from. So I think the FIFA World Cup in South Korea and Japan was on at that time in 2002.
2002, yeah.
Yeah. So, and my granddad was really into football. So I remember watching the games with him. And that was my first ever, like, you know, leeway into actual sport.
And you know what? Being from India, you are globally famous for cricket, but not football. You know, how do you feel about that as an Indian man?
I think
India never goes to the World Cup or anything like that.
I think we do have talent. So basically, my first job also was in football. That's how I was playing football. Like I was totally into football. I used to play for my school. I used to represent my university.
What position?
I was like a right wing or a false nine behind the striker.
Oh, nice.
So I used to switch between the two depending on what the coach wanted me to do on the given day. But so personally also, like the interest in the Premier League, I'm a diehard Manchester United supporter, right? I'd say supporter and not a fan because I've stood thick with them through our rough times. And now we're 3 wins on the trot. So hopefully it just goes.
What do you think of your manager?
I think we need to give our manager a shot, you know, because we've changed a few in the last, like we've been so successful as a club in recent history. When I say recent history, I'm not talking the last 7-8 years, but there's a certain expectation,
of course,
right, of being a top club. So I think in pursuit of that, we've kind of changed managers every now and then as soon as we thought the results weren't going our way. But, you know, we need to give him some Fergie time and try and build him, try and let him build the team around the players he feels are important and bring in his mentality, ecosystem. Everything needs to work according to what he says, I think, going forward. And I think 1 or 2 more seasons, he should be there because I'm kind of liking what he's doing now. He's very passionate. He comes across as very passionate in his interviews, which is actually the only requirement from a coach who serves Manchester United. Because if you bring that energy onto the field or in the dressing room, it will have a ripple effect on the players. And hopefully, we're talking Manchester United now.
No,
but
it's do you know what? That's what we're here to talk about, which is you and what you like and what you love.
Yeah. So basically football, I used to play football. Again, because of following the Premier League, watched Ronaldo debut for United in 2003. Because by that time, courtesy of my granddad, I was into football more than cricket. Obviously, when I used to come back home and people around me, we used to play cricket in the street, in the parks, and football both. But from a viewership point of view at that point for me and for the sport that I used to love was primarily football. And it was, it's a really fond memory of mine, actually. So when I realized that I wasn't good enough to be a player, right? And it's a hard one for any person associated in a particular sport.
How close were you?
Not really. I'm just saying I was far from it, to be very honest. So that's why I had my realization much sooner, which is great because out of university when you're trying for different clubs and certain times you're not even making the trials, right? You're attending the trials, but you're really not representing any club per se, even in India, right? So thankfully I had that realization wherein I realized that, I don't think I should be playing football or thinking I should be playing it, but I shouldn't be thinking of the sport from a professional angle myself. Maybe twist it around and be around the sport on the management side. So that's what actually led me to work in sport because I wanted to be connected to it in some way or form. So because I couldn't do it as a player, I was just, that's how I actually, that was my calling to actually work in it.
And so what was the first step from that?
So the first step for that was back home in Delhi University when we were organizing a sports and cultural fest called Ranbhoomi. So I did my business economics honors, which is, one of the professional courses that we have in Delhi University. We used to have an inter-college tournament or fest, as we call it, called Ranbhoomi, which was a mix of management events as well as sport events. So I got into organizing that because my college hosted it. So that's where my interest of getting behind the scenes actually initiated. And I was like, this is nice. And I understand the sport inside out, got more interested in other sports as well, and got inside the workings of that. Also did my physical education as one of the courses in my schooling years towards the end. So I had that understanding and knack of what goes on the field. And then I got a little understanding behind it, raising sponsorships at a very primitive level for college sport. Just all of that. Then I was like, maybe this is what I actually want to do. So I didn't really sit for any college placements that all of my other classmates were sitting for when, corporates came in and, they recruit, college graduates. So I wasn't really part of that because I was hell-bent on at least giving it a shot. Traditionally did not have any contacts. So it was a very rewarding journey, I would say, because I'd applied to about 100, 110 sports management companies in India and worldwide, without any prior connection. Finally got an interview call from 2. So, and out of which I started off as an intern for one, which was the Delhi Dynamos Football Club.
Okay.
So this club was part of the Indian Super League, which started in 2014. And we are talking 2015. So as soon as I got out of college, now it's been 10 years since just over 10 years since I've been working in sport. But that was my first foray.
Was it something that your parents supported? Or was it something that you had to say, no, I'm passionate about this. I'm not going to try and go for a corporate job. I don't want to go down this road. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or were they, were they like, we can see how passionate you are, son. Follow your dreams. Were you supported on that, or did you have to sort of go against the grain?
So basically, traditionally, my dad's a chartered accountant back home. My mom's actually a French professor.
Okay,
So
awesome.
she teaches French in Delhi.
Do you speak French?
Upper.
Fair enough.
Basically, the focus was on education, which looking back actually helped me be where I am. The focus was on education during schooling years. Yes, I used to play football, etc. And they used to send me for coaching lessons in the sport. Even tried my hand at cricket. So there was a mix of both. But after a point of time when I said I personally had my realization to actually make this a career, they were pretty supportive.
Amazing.
Because at least they were like, okay, fine, he's doing well, reasonably well at his studies. He's getting into this is a personal choice. He's not having to make this choice, right? At the same time, I'm very grateful that they actually let me do it because I wasn't the breadwinner, right? So that was never a problem at home. So I could actually go out and experiment because I wasn't worried about, the financial side of it.
Was that a problem for other people sort of in the university, in your class?
Could have been. Could have been. Some people, obviously, everyone has dreams, right? Only if everyone has dreams. Sometimes you put in a situation wherein you're like, okay, fine, let's park that. For now, I need to do this to survive, basically. So at least that was not a problem. So I'm very grateful for that, firstly. And then, of course, parental support to kind of test it out, see where you go. So they never clipped my wings, which is
amazing.
Yeah, which is why, we're here.
And so what was the role of your internship?
So again, very interestingly, when I got into sport, in college, I used to look after a lot of things, right? Be it raising minor sponsorships or getting onto the operations side. So I was very hell-bent onto this whole glamorous life of being around international players, right? So in Delhi Dynamos, my head coach was Roberto Carlos. We had Florent Malouda and John Arne Riise as our midfielders. So it was a big deal.
Carlos,
Yeah. And then following the World Cup, and that's what I'm talking about, following the Japan and South Korea World Cup, where actually Brazil won. So that's how far back I went in terms of knowing Roberto Carlos, the legend, right? So
I remember, I remember his goal, 1998 in La Tournoise, the one that you always see, the one where he's like 35 yards out. The banana, okay, I've never heard someone call it the banana kick, but yeah. And I was watching the game.
Yeah.
I was watching the game. It was the tournament that was building up before the 98 World Cup in France. And he took this enormous run up and was like, what the? And you'd never seen anything like it. Never said, I was like, wow. And he scored some amazing goals.
Oh, absolutely.
Superb,
I think that one he curled around the wall, top corner.
Well, there's the one that I actually always think is better is where he is on the byline. I don't know if you remember this, and I think it's when he's playing for Real Madrid. It's his club, not country.
Is it from the corner?
Yeah.
And he just bangs it in.
And he's at the byline almost, and he just smashes it, and it loops straight in, and you're like... And the thing I love about certain football players is who thinks to do that? Do you know what I mean? Like football and professional sport can be so tactical that it's when someone kind of goes, nah, I'm just going to have a go. Do you know what I mean?
Especially, like football's a reflex sport, right? So you literally have to think 2 steps ahead of where your teammates are, what I can do. Do I have my chances or should I pass it? Or, it can go either way. Mostly goes the other way, especially. But yeah, he was a fantastic player. So yeah, that was what was attractive to begin with. A young guy just out of college thinking of being a footballer himself. Next thing he knows, he's, at a similar shoot, right? For a particular brand next to Roberto Carlos. Like, that is insane for a young bloke. But inside, when I actually got into the club, I joined the operations team. So again, I thought everyone does everything. I wasn't very well versed with departments saying this is broadcast production, this is team operations, this is venue operations, this is hospitality, then comes marketing, then comes sponsorships. I just joined in as an intern. Anyone from any team used to just give me work, right? It wasn't serving coffee, it was actual work because we were a very lean team. So that's when I actually enjoyed the marketing and commercial side more, because it actually mixed what I learned during my schooling or my college years with professional sport, wherein I could I've majored in marketing as well during my postgraduate degree. So all of that kind of added to what I wanted to do, and then we had sport. So this was a perfect mix
Yeah,
wherein
it sounds it, to be honest with you.
so no complaints whatsoever. So that's actually when I started then I told my my boss that I really want to focus on this department. So he was kind enough to kind of then keep me exclusively on the marketing and commercial side, which is great because it's not just the sport. Then you're actually dealing with a brand or brands and how they want to leverage the association with a club or a league and take their brand to the next level. So you actually get the best of both worlds on the corporate side as well as the sporting side.
And so you come out of the internship, and did you get fully employed at the football club?
No. So that internship was time bound. It was for, I think I started July, right at the end of the year, which was December 31st. So that was a 6 or 7 month internship. After that, actually, then through people I'd worked with at this club, they were like, okay, fine, do some contractual work and then let's see. So in January and February, again, lucky enough to work on hockey in Delhi.
Okay.
So there was another league called Hockey India League.
It's a big sport in India, isn't it, hockey?
It's actually the national sport of India.
Because you're always very good in the Olympics.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
We won the Olympics bronze in the last Olympics. But yes, so we were very good at that point in time. Then this hockey was my first. I'd never played. I didn't know the rules, to be very honest. It is a national sport. It's like, cricket's the national sport of England, but, majority of the population wouldn't know that because they focused on football.
100%.
Like cricket should be, from how it is perceived in India, the national sport of the country, but it's actually hockey.
So you just said cricket is the English national sport?
Yeah.
Is that correct?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Great.
Because I would have been sitting here thinking it's
That's
football.
what I'm saying. That's the perception, right? So people will be like, yeah, they'll associate cricket with India immediately. But it's actually hockey. So...
Oh, wow.
So I got a chance to work on that. In that, I was on the team operations side. So at that point, I was like, okay, fine, let me see. Maybe I missed out on what I could have learned on this side of life. So I did that for a couple of months. Following which I joined the Delhi Daredevils, which is the IPL team. Now it's the Delhi Capitals, right? Again, for a 3-month project in the marketing and digital team. That was a completely different whale.
Oh,
Still is.
The IPL is...
Yeah.
It's such a good idea. It's taken... When that was created, it's the bidding for players element. Do you know what I mean? That imagine that you had the World Cup in football, right? But instead of the countries, everyone bids. It'd be the craziest thing to watch. Is your team going to buy the greatest players and try and assemble them for this one-off tournament? And can they actually work together? I mean, like I said, I don't really follow cricket that much. But when I look at the IPL as a construct, I think it's awesome.
Oh, it is. I think it's set a benchmark that every other league, not just cricket, also aspires to achieve or attain, right? In global sport, we're right next to NFL when it comes to media rights. When I say we, it's actually the IPL, right? But it's a different animal. It's now in its, I think, 18th season.
Oh, wow.
2008 is when it started.
It did wonders for the excitement, to make cricket more exciting. I always think that cricket has suffered from not being very exciting because, like you said, there's not a lot of people that truly understand what's happening. Like, I think the only test series I watch is the Ashes. And it's almost the same as golf, where I don't really watch golf, but I'll watch the Ryder Cup.
Yeah.
Because it comes with so much more intensity to it. There's so much more riding on it. And I think everyone in the UK remembers the 2005 Ashes series.
Yeah.
Which was just phenomenal.
The one with Kevin Peterson
Kevin Peterson, Freddie Flintoff. And it was England. I think England had been absolutely rubbish in the Ashes for about a decade. and then it's happening in the UK, and all of a sudden, we're winning, it's close, there was so much drama, and for some reason, like I said it, and that's what's really clever about sport, is that you can not have anything to do with it, and then suddenly something's happening with your country or your team that you forget that it's sport, and you're watching, you're like, this is a big moment, for the country.
Just out of patriotism.
Yeah. Well, I think, and I did a podcast with a gentleman. We were talking about the World Cup in Qatar when Saudi Arabia played Argentina.
Yeah.
And Saudi Arabia won. And that there is a massive example for what sport can do, because I was working in a venue that was showing it, and you didn't get like Argentina are going to win 10-0. Do you know what I mean? This sort of thing. And suddenly Saudi Arabia have scored. Yeah. And then you're like, it's getting closer and now it's half time. Do you know what I mean? And then you start messaging, are you watching this? Are you watching? And suddenly the whole world stops and everyone is just watching the TV, because are Saudi Arabia going to beat a team and they did.
With Messi at his peak.
Yeah. And then I think that everyone in Saudi Arabia got a national holiday, and it just, and it's the magic of sport.
Yeah, and that actually, exactly, rightly said. It actually builds the profile of the sport in the region, right? So even if you're not from Argentina or from Saudi Arabia, it's an event that you might not witness again, at least, So you're like, wow, is this really happening? Because it will be a talking point for days.
Well, it still is. It still is now.
So you may call it an upset or whatever, but you did have those 90 minutes to, for it to go any way, and it went Saudi Arabia's way, which is great.
And it's one of these things where I think that, if supporting England, I think in any sport, you're not going to get those moments because we have an expectation. But to be a country that is not that is supposed to get battered, and then you actually win, it must be an incredible feeling.
Absolutely.
I wanted to then sort of ask you then, okay, so you moved into sponsorships full time, So where was the place that you worked where you really took hold of that role?
I think after I worked with Delhi Daredevils on the 3-month contract, I was called back by Delhi Dynamos in football. And then they obviously, I resumed after, say, January and February, March, April, May. 5-6 months I worked in hockey and then in cricket in Delhi Daredevils. Right after that, I joined Delhi Dynamos as in the marketing and sponsorship team. And this time it was a full-time role per se. So, and it was what I wanted to do right after that. So that's when I actually got into the contract side of stuff and more deeply involved in, strategy, where you want to take the club where it is right now. Not involved in like which players to sign, etc. But now that they've been signed, how can we make the most of the squad that we have in terms of pushing it out to any brand that may want it, or just marketing initiatives.
And how does that mechanism work?
So
how do you execute the strategy?
So, I mean, it's been a big learning curve, not that in particular, but like we're still learning, right? Now with AI, things are different. How you put forth your messaging is also different to what we used to do. Initially marketing would, like traditionally we'd be like, yeah, okay, fine. Newspaper ads, done, bought, buy bought media, paid media.
Yeah.
Newspaper ads, done. Then we obviously slowly transition into just radio spots, done. What is the messaging, how we change it. All of that is now obviously required, but is no longer enough, right? Because we're always on our phones. We've got such an influx of technology at our hand, right? So, and the attention span of any consumer or a viewer, even if he's watching live sport, like you watch 5-10 minutes, if you're like, even if it's football, for example, if it's not an interesting play for like 5-10 minutes, you may stretch it for another 5, but you're like, okay, fine, I'll check the score in another 5 minutes. You'll switch channels. And if you're liking what you're watching, you're not coming back. Then you're on your phone saying, okay, what's the score? You'd only come in if it's like a 2-2 in the last 10 minutes, and then you'll be like, let's see how it goes.
Yeah, 100%.
So, and that is live sport, right? Now marketing for like that marketing, the sport for you to actually watch it is a totally different game. So working on that is what we still continue doing. So like you said, how you go about the strategy, it's different for a different market. It was different to market football in Delhi to cricket in the UAE. right, or cricket in India to football in the UAE. So everything has a very different metrics and our target audience, who we trying to showcase, who we want integrated into the sport. Obviously, everyone's welcome always, but there is a certain section that we feel has an avid following of the
Yeah,
sport.
of course, yeah.
So so just figuring it out is always challenging yet very rewarding if it turns out to be a success, because you're actually understanding the local nuances. So I moved here in 2022, around 3.5 years ago, full time basically, and it's a very different understanding to what I had when I was working in the same sport but in India to now working in cricket in the UAE.
What were some of the biggest differences?
I think just again when we spoke about national sport, right? So over here, as soon as UAE has been really fortunate to host the best events in cricket, to be very honest. It has fantastic infrastructure, right? And it is an associate nation, but it still gets the best events. The ICC Champions Trophy, the ICC World Cups, recently concluded Asia Cup. So yes, we do get the best events, but the countries that are taking part in it are from all walks of life. Having said that, football, I perceived, is the main sport in the region. So when I say, at least here, obviously, because of this region being a melting pot of cultures, there's also a lot of mileage for, say, horse racing, or then you've got Formula One, or you've got golf.
Yeah,
but
it seems to have. I don't want to get in trouble for this. I've always struggled with what is the UAE's national sport. It has the events. So Abu Dhabi has the Grand Prix. You have the golf tournaments. You have the cricket tournaments and everything like this. But I've always thought, what if cricket is now, as I now know, the UK's national sport, and hockey is India's?
Yeah. Now that you're asking me, I'm also like, did I say the right thing?
No, it's not. No, it's not, because you know what the thing is, that the UAE, and I'm about to say, the UAE is very developing. Compared to the UK. Dubai and the UAE it's almost like a new country. They celebrate 45 years on National Day, 46 years, 50 years. The UK is like 2,000 years old, And I think that the question is more like, how is the sports going to develop, and what will the UAE naturally start to shine at, That's the biggest thing. I mean, like I say, they host phenomenal events. But I'm just like I say, I always wonder, right, what is the UAE's national sport,
Yeah, I think the interest level in the youth, obviously, is football. I'm not saying, okay, fine, there's a obviously we've got the Saudi Pro League, who is potentially in the region, right? We've also got the ADNOC League, which is the UAE National Football League, right? But like I was growing up following the Premier League.
Yeah.
So people here are following football, which may or may not be played in the region, but they are following football.
No, 100%.
Right?
100%.
So, and when we also approach brands, a lot of them, if obviously they're not from the South Asian community, who are fully well versed with cricket, right? There is an opportunity to actually introduce them to a new sport, and then it's like it actually blows their minds to actually know the following that cricket has.
Yeah, definitely.
But because they weren't part of that is why I come with this perception that probably, there's so much room for growth and improvement of cricket in this region.
The stadiums are fantastic.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I wanted to ask you, because I come from a big hospitality background, done tons and tons of events and everything like this. When it comes to the sponsorship deals, it's like, how easy is it to put these things together? Like, who has the leverage? Is it that you have the tournament, the players, the crowd, the reach? So sponsors are like, right, you need to give me what I want. Or are the sponsors, well, we've got the money. Do you know what I mean? So how do the deals structure,
So I think, again, it differs market to market. Now we're specifically talking with the UAE. And since I work in cricket, I can tell you about cricket at least.
Yeah.
We initially obviously make a brand list. Then we look at current spenders. When I say current spenders, it's just brands that are actually having ample amount of budgets on advertising, or we actually see them while our drives on Sheikh Zayed Road on the big hoarding. So we know, yes, okay, fine, these guys have money to actually sponsor us. So that's the first potential opportunity. The next one would be, how is their story coming across? As in, who is their target audience, right? For a currency exchange platform, it will be a different audience. For a real estate company, it will be a different target market, right? So what can we help them fill the gap with, basically? So that's the potential opportunity that we identify, and that's part of my main pitch. Obviously, there is a certain bouquet of rights and benefits that each potential partner will be getting. But what is the game-changing factor that you can offer them that they'll pick cricket over golf or cricket over football, right? That is only done after we do some research on why we're pitching something to a brand, right? And if we meet that, then they actually show interest. Okay, fine, this is a problem that maybe this tournament will help me solve.
Okay.
So yeah, so that's basically, because in cricket now, just over and above the logos, the pitch mats, etc., we also have commentary mentions and displays, right? So they actually help tell the brand story during live sport instead of waiting for an advert in between and over.
And how is that? Because we're doing a live podcast.
Yeah.
I mean, as I explained to you, we've just met. I'm not going to edit it. You don't know what there's no real structure to it. It is essentially live.
Yeah.
And so how do you structure it with the commentators to actually get the message across?
So once we have a sponsor on board, right, outside of their branding assets, this is an interesting piece, because that can be custom. Like if it's LED boards or it's pitch mats, that is a branding asset that X sponsor will have and a Y sponsor will have, right? And the only differentiating factor between them would be their logos or messaging on the LED, right? But when it comes to in-game activations, that's where you can actually differentiate and tell your own brand story. So we have mutual discussions, right, with the brand. Okay, fine, this is what I want to achieve out of this partnership. What's the best way whilst maintaining context related to the sport, right? So it should not come across as a pure advertisement, right? For example, DP World, right? They are my title partner. They're fantastic at activating across all sport, and they've literally changed the game in terms of how they associate with a brand and then leverage the association. So currently they distribute cricket kits to grassroots. That's part of their initiative in cricket. But how do they send that messaging across? Or how do you know that DP World predominantly, obviously, is a major logistics giant? So every time a six is hit, right, a container branded with DP World pops onto the screen. Every time a six in cricket is hit, and then a cricket kit comes out of that. So it's actually, and then it's supported with a commentary mention telling them that a six was hit. With smart logistics worldwide, DP World is now going to deliver a cricket set to the underprivileged or to grassroots cricket, which is a fantastic cause. Very, very unique way of coming out with a message, Or, for example, every time at the start of play, a DP World branded truck comes onto the field to deliver the ball.
Yeah. They had that at the players' auction.
Exactly.
That were bringing it, because I was there for about an hour. I thought it was absolutely brilliant, where this little remote control truck comes out. And I did actually think at the time, that truck better not break down.
No, so they actually, a lot of work goes behind that, right?
This is
they
the thing.
test it. So now you were there for the DP World ILT20 auction that we had earlier this month. So the first player to be auctioned was brought onto the stage in the complete set by a DP World smart truck.
Yeah.
So, and they've gone above and beyond. Now what happens is they've also, they're very tech focused, and it's amazing to work with them, because another activation is you have a lot of broadcast equipment. We have about a 36, 37 camera production.
Yeah.
Now, in live sport, you've got a buggy camera. A buggy camera is basically on wheels, on ground, and it, moves in a circular motion. We've rebranded that through their help and through our broadcast suppliers' help into a DP World buggy cam. That's what it's called now, right? So in addition to the smart truck that goes onto the field to deliver the ball, it's also used, not the same truck, but a DP World buggy cam is also used to actually give you the live feed that you see at home.
Okay.
Because it's so they've basically changed that without affecting the actual output of that particular broadcast equipment.
Okay. That's
So
amazing.
it's pretty cool because they keep pushing boundaries, right? So I'm just saying, so stuff like this is what you're obviously going to see, the standard logo displays, etc. But all of this is actually what will tell you the story. Or if you give them player shoot access, right? They create fantastic content, which again relates back to what they do as a core business. But it's just creative ways of using sport as a medium to tell their story.
And I think a lot of people take it all for granted.
Exactly.
You know, the paying customer, you tune in, the truck comes out, delivers the ball, and you think, yeah, that's cool. Do you know what I mean? But behind the scenes, I know this from events I've done myself, behind the scenes, there are people just going, oh, I hope that truck doesn't. Like I said, the truck
absolutely.
Like, you just stand there going, because if it does, and this is thing from a sponsorship perspective, if the truck breaks down and the sponsor's logos are all over it, it's kind of sending this message of like, you know, that didn't work. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this one's and so from a partnership, as you're the guy who is structuring the deals, you know, I mentioned this to you before we started recording, which is, where does your job start and finish when it comes to the actual event itself?
Yeah.
Because if you are the one who's brokering the deal and dealing with it and signing the contract, so you're the face, you're the name, you're the one they're connecting with, the people signing the sponsorship deals with you. And then when the event starts, or on the day of the event, you know, there is the events team, but your sponsors are still looking at you, correct? How do you deal with the day itself?
Great. So basically, once you've obviously got the partner on board, you finalize the activation with them, right? So now they obviously expected to come to life on the first game and going forward. So we sit with the producer from broadcast. We prepare a producer's checklist and mentions sheet, wherein we tell them these are the activations that need to happen while the cricket is on. So it's obviously their editorial call to decide where to plug it in. Now, the producers and commentator room is quite a busy space in cricket, right? Because there's just so much stats flowing. There's just like a plethora of information that goes to the commentator, and the producer's feeding it from behind. So he's literally behind the commentator. He's got the scripts, right? They're in English, they're in Hindi, they're in Tamil, any other language that obviously showcases our live feed. And once we finalized it, we've told the producer it has to go these many number of times. These are the talking points. These are the different languages. So we've got separate rooms for each language. And then these guys are literally, letting the commentators know that, okay, fine, next ball or next 4 or next 6, if this happens, you've got to say this, you know. And sometimes these mentions are so organic. Like you've got a commentator who's, like we have a 34 match season. By match 5 or 6, he's actually talking about it in a much more comfortable sense, having experienced something. For example, if it's a car manufacturer, if it's a car partner, right? So what car manufacturer car partners do is that they'll give you event cars for the season. So initially, as a commentator, you're like, okay, fine, I need to say comfortable, relaxed, or spacious car, great features, etc. But after match 5 or 6, they've actually been given them. The car partner ensures that these particular commentators are given these cars for the entire duration of the event, so they're experiencing it on their own. So it just enhances the talking points and goes beyond what we give them on script. So they actually bring it to life more naturally.
Okay.
Right. But yeah, speaking of the day, my role would obviously also be to ensure that all these deliverables are met. The LED is working. We're doing our checks on -1, which is what we say a day before the game. Having matches every day, I'm very lucky to have a team that is stationed at each venue across Dubai, Abu Dhabi, and Sharjah, who do the -1 checks, all LEDs, all run orders, everything's in play. We have a producer meeting start of the season, and then in case there's any minor tweaks of how it went, how it didn't go, right, is what we discuss on the given day. If there's a new activation, there's a new plugin, right? So that's the kind of conversation we have. So it's literally an ongoing process right till the trophy is lifted, to be honest, because you got to prepare the presentation script. You've got to like see which guests are coming in on the match day, who are the sponsor guests that are actually coming in to see the games, right? So networking with them, interacting with them, getting their feedback mid-season, crunching numbers with the agencies we have on board who do media evaluation. They give us a report after game 2, this worked, this didn't work, what had a higher viewership point, what had higher exposure. Will black be okay? Or is the lighting suited for white? So should we try the reverse logo for better exposure? So it's a constant learning curve.
How fluid is it throughout the season? Is there many changes that happen? Or is there a strict... So, because my assumption, if I'm wrong, please tell me I'm wrong, is that, like you said, you'll sign an agreement, and for the first event, the pressure's on, because you've got to get off to a good start. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And the first event, this is what we're doing, this is where your logos are going, this is what the commentators are going to say, and then it's like, right, okay, this has got to go well. And the sponsors are there and you're there. And I did actually want to ask, and I do want to ask you, when you were talking about the commentary and the producers and everything like this, who's the most stressed person? Is it you, the producer, or the commentator? Is the producer just like, say this, say... Because cricket is not football. Cricket goes on... The commentators are like, so for a test match, is it every 4 hours? What? And then they switch? The commentators, they do long stints, The
producers are generally stationed at one position.
So the producers are like...
Yeah.
Constantly feeding in the information. So who's more stressed from your perspective?
I think it's us.
Yeah.
Because I'm outside the room, right? Now I've given them the information. Obviously in between the innings, maybe I have a chat because something was missed, but like when it's real time and it's live sport, so what's said by the commentator on air has gone, and I can't change that. I can only make good for something that has gone wrong and potentially increase an exposure point in a different game or the second innings. But it's very interesting because the commentator's relaxed. He's most likely he's an ex-cricketer. He's a legendary cricketer himself who's now retired, or a professional broadcaster who's been in the business for very long. Even the producer's very chill like that.
Have there ever been some howling moments, like sort of on day one, first event? So like I said, it's all very serious. Sponsors there, you're there, and suddenly the commentators just mispronounce the sponsorship completely, and your contact is there just like,
that's happened. Yeah, it does. Especially during the first 2, 3, 4 days of the tournament, right? It's happened back home in India during the IPL. It's happened here. It's always the case. That's how we're also learning. Sometimes some particular commentator from a different country may mispronounce the brand name, right? Whether it's supposed to be said in a different way. So even all of that happens, and then we'd like, now we got to hear it. Each of them.
The sponsor, are they okay about it? Do they go,
initially they're like, well, because it's gone out. So everyone's literally in the first game, whoever is our partner or has been, with the national team, whoever, they're all waiting for how it materializes on air.
Yes, of course.
And if you miss that moment, right, then
I can imagine.
That's when you're like, why I'm saying I'm stressed, just because there's just so much I can say to the producer. Yeah. I know he has to run the rest of the game, right? Their cricket stats. There's just so much happening. Why I'm stressed more, or why the team is stressed more, that is outside the commentary room, is because
you can't control it.
Because I'm with the partner. The partner is not going to go into the broadcast room, right? Yeah. So we are answerable to him immediately. So if I'm, like you said, if me or someone else from the management team is the face, that's where the buck stops. Yeah. I may later have a chat with the producer separately, but in the moment I'm like, okay, fine.
A chat.
Sorry. In the moment we're like, what do we do? Okay, fine. These guys are given, 4 spots of exposure on the LED screen. Maybe I can exceed, or maybe I can increase it to 2 more in second innings. I already tell them, as make good, we're doing this, or we give them an extra benefit, or we give them an extra display and mention in the next game. Yeah. Or giving them extra hospitality tickets, something for them to obviously also calm down.
100%.
They also understand, because it won't be their first, first time sponsoring. If that is the case, then that's also a much, much bigger problem. If it's the first ever event that they've ever done, right? And it's the first game, and it's the first time their brand
Everyone's
is being
excited.
associated.
You
Yeah,
know what I mean?
and then it
Everyone
comes.
from the sponsorship company has come down.
Yeah.
So yeah, I know exactly. I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah, so it's basically stressful outside of the room. These guys are very professional. Inside, they know what needs to be done, mostly. But it's one of those 1 or 2 issues. Sometimes some things are out of our control. Like there's a power failure, despite having backup gen sets, and the LED goes off. So
Yeah.
everyone's just looking at you. Like I'm like, okay, fine, like get on it. But then it takes maybe say rare cases here, but maybe it takes 5 minutes to power it all back on.
The longest 5 minutes of
Yeah,
your life.
exactly. Because you don't know whether it's 5 or 7 or 10, right? You're like, it's just coming on, it's just coming on. So stuff like that is always going on behind the scenes. And this is just something that you actually see, but there's all kinds of things, DFMD sometimes don't work. You're not able to
100%,
enter.
yeah.
Turnstiles are not working. ACREDs are not scanning. There's some issue with some food and hospitality, which someone is saying is, I don't know, not fresh, just as an example.
Yeah.
So
I've done so many events.
Exactly. So, like anything can be an issue for any department. But yeah, thankfully, till the time there is a final game, we don't run out of the opportunity to make good. So yeah.
And I think what people don't realize is, and it must have happened, is they lift the trophy and it's like, it's all over. Do you know what I mean? And suddenly everyone just goes, oh. There's a great feeling with that, where it's been a success, great game, great event. As I come from my background, so, great dance music event or large festival type thing. And then you look at your team and you're like, yeah, we've been here 18 hours, and we've got through it and it's been awesome. And then everyone's happy and sponsors are happy and customers are happy. It's large events are amazing.
Yeah, it's
amazing
actually
to be a part of.
Very rightly said. Like it is the best feeling because nothing else satisfies you more than the trophy being lifted. And at least for like a month, there's some downtime.
Yeah.
Your
Then it all
phone's not
starts again.
constantly ringing. You have some leeway to reply to emails. There's just some relaxation, which is very different to a regular 9 to 5. Because yes, you'll have peak moments, you peak seasons, but live sport is a different beast.
Well, I think that again, people don't realize that sort of executing a large event, if the event's on Saturday, the work begins Monday. Do you know what I mean? And in that Monday to Saturday or Sunday, after breaking everything down, you probably do more work in that 1 week than most people do in a month.
Potentially. And then we have tournaments like this, right, where you have a match every day, the entire month. So basically it's just Dubai today, Abu Dhabi tomorrow, Sharjah. So there's no concept of weekday weekends. And this is once the game started. To set that up, obviously we're working around the clock in the month of November for it to start in December. So it's pretty much peak season, and you're always available because you're working with clients in India, in the UAE, with potentially a broadcaster outside in England. So you also got to manage all kinds of timings. So it's a lot of fun. Like I would say, I thrive under pressure. I would like to say that myself. I really like it. I like the adrenaline rush that comes with executing something that's live. So personally, like I like that, but it's only enjoyable once it's obviously a success, and you enjoy it more once it's over.
Yes.
Thinking about all of that with the entire team.
It's always good at the end.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I wanted to ask you a couple of things about partners and sponsors and everything. It's because again, I come from the position we take it all for granted. The consumers. Have you ever signed a partnership deal that looks really good, the idea, but then when it comes to life, you're thinking, I don't know if this is right. Do you know what I mean? And has that ever happened with you where you I'm not trying to suggest you get it wrong.
Yeah.
I'm trying to suggest that what looks good on paper, what looks good as branding, once it comes to life and you see it en masse, you start to think, I don't know, was this the right idea? Do you know what I mean? Have you had sponsors feel that way as well?
Well, I can't say for them. But yeah, from our side, being in this market or back home, we've never really had any problem like that, thinking, this may not be, after signing, this may not be the right fit. Because that was the whole point of the pitch, to tell them that this is the right fit, right? That's when the research about the particular brand comes into play. So no, I've personally not felt that something is not right. The only thing sometimes we as marketeers also want is beyond the rights fee that a sponsor pays. They have to keep certain budgets for actually milking the partnership outside the cricket stadium. You know, maybe at their retail store or, you know, somewhere else, or their offices, or just other modes of communication. That's how you actually, you know, have a full bouquet of benefits that you can gain from a particular partnership. So sometimes the only, I wouldn't say worry, but the only, I think the only thing holding anything back from a brand sponsorship being absolutely fantastic is that, yes, they've allocated a hefty budget to sponsor an event, but on their side, they've not really done anything about the association, and it's everything that the league is doing, right?
Okay, so they've kind of gone, yeah.
So they've got this set of assets. Yes, they're happy with, like, we are thinking of how to make it better. It doesn't happen often, but just in one or two situations wherein, you know, they're like, yeah, this is the budget. The marketing team signed off on this from the senior management. So yes, do the agreement. Everything is done. So whatever is happening on the cricket field is what they're concerned with, but nothing outside for the community or something from a fan engagement point of view to actually ensure that they can elevate the partnership to everyone who's watching inside the stadium.
Like you say, it's a partnership.
Yeah.
It's not just sign a deal and then you go and do all the work. It's that there's a lot to be made out of partnerships.
That is the main difference, right? That's why I like to refer to everyone we bring on board as partners. Of course, we have our own rights that we need to give to you, but it'll only work in tandem with anything that you do will obviously help grow the profile of the sport in the country.
Who would you love to work with?
As in?
Brand.
I think I am working with one of the best. We're very grateful to have DP World as our title partner.
That's phenomenal,
because we've had them from the inception, and we've had them from the inception, and they've just changed the game completely. Like they're in, obviously, with the McLaren team in Formula One, the DP World Tour. They're with Sail GP, you know, and most recently they sponsored the DP World India Championship, which was basically the first time DP World Tour event of that stature was brought to India just last week.
Big golf tournament as well,
yes,
don't they?
The DP World India
DP
Championship.
World,
they had Rory McIlroy, and Tommy Fleetwood is their global brand ambassador. So when I say love to have, like, I used to be into football till a certain point in time. I'd say 2017, 2018 onwards, I am totally into golf, right? So cricket is a work hazard.
Do you play?
Yes.
I learned to play last year. Even though it is a global phenomenon of a sport and it's huge, I still don't think it gets enough credit because it's really difficult.
It is.
It is. I don't know how many people that play golf get this. People that don't just go, oh, it's really, really boring.
Exactly.
But the amount that can go wrong is like, and that's why when you watch golf, I've got so much more appreciation for it now, where you even see the best in the world will, you know, tee off and off it goes into the trees. And it's like, you think, surely you're the best in the world. You should just be nailing it every time. And it's not, because there's so many details, even in just hitting the ball.
Absolutely.
It's an amazing sport.
Yeah. So basically, so golf, again, why I segued into golf is, one, I'm totally a golf geek, right? Like you rightly said, people who don't actually follow the sport wouldn't appreciate it as much. But once you're into the sport as a player, you can't start off watching it and then get into it, I feel, because that was always available. But what is putting? It's boring, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Once you actually start playing, you appreciate the skill level of a professional golfer. Because you're out on the course, literally just digging divots, right?
Yeah, I'm trying not to laugh because of how bad I am. You know what I mean? It's like, if someone asks me what my handicap is, it's like total. Do you know what I mean? I'm completely handicapped.
Yeah. So again, like I said, this partnership is so great because they are the title partners for the Ryder Cup. They're
Yes.
title partners for the European Tour. It's called the DP World Tour now. And they have Tommy Fleetwood, who is the FedEx Cup champion, the current Ryder Cup winner, and now he won the DP World India Championship. He's their global brand ambassador. So through this partnership, we get to organize a DP World ILT20 Golf Day, which is a mix of cricket and golf.
Yeah.
They invite their corporate clients. We bring in the commentators, legendary players, whoever's participating. And just this year in season 3, when we had the golf day, they were kind enough to bring in their global brand ambassador, Tommy Fleetwood, for a Beat the Pro. So that's the kind of partnerships that, will elevate any sport when they're mixing what they have to elevate a different partnership and vice versa. So it was fantastic. Yeah.
And where do you want to take this? Every year it's growing.
Yeah.
So as somebody that's actually like leading the way on getting the investments and the sponsorships and the partners into it, like how big do you want to grow this?
I think year on year, we've seen growth, at least on the metric system, right? There's viewership. We are the second most watched tournament in the world right now, franchise cricket tournament. We have a fantastic broadcaster in Z Networks, right? We've come up with cool content. We crossed over 1 billion minutes of content last year, and we hope to do only better, right?
That's a lot of minutes.
Exactly. I would say billion views, my bad. About 1.8 billion impressions and 1 billion views, which is the first for us. It was I think 500 or 1000x from season 2 to 3. That was also because of our collaborations with different pure cricketing platforms. So stuff like that. And now most recently, we've partnered with Kuwait Cricket and the Saudi Arabian Cricket Federation, which adds a different dimension to sport in the region, right? Because currently we are the DP World ILT20 based out of the UAE. We still will be, but having these partnerships makes us the league, the T20 league in the region. And having support from neighboring countries is fantastic. So from a sustainability lens, this is just going to keep growing. And we also look forward to having more such partnerships in the region, which will elevate the profile of the sport and in turn bring in investments, potentially expand in those regions and potentially we'll have a bigger market at hand, right, to play with. So that is the plan. And it's actually a success story because, like I said, the perception I have here is, yes, football's the first sport. Now, with this tournament,
yes, definitely,
right, cricket is becoming a very, very, very attractive or viable option for a youngster to pursue as a career. Just most recently in the auction that you attended, UAE players went for $140,000 and $170,000 to play 10 matches across a month. So those are that's the difference that this tournament has made, right? Because the UAE players get to mix with the bigwigs of the world through this. And
which would be amazing for them as well.
Absolutely. So like on all platforms, right? Be it the cricket, be it the commercial side, everything is just growing. Which is why I said it's so good to see that there is so much room for improvement here, right? So you can't really rest on anything that you had previously. There's just so many avenues, so many ways of taking it to the next level. And we're very happy to be on the cusp of it.
100%. Well, look, we've come to the end. Believe it or not, that is, I think, nearly an hour just flown past. I love it.
That was amazing.
As I like to ask every Taste of Humans guest right at the end, out of your entire career, your life, what you've done, what you do, and what you're passionate about, work ethic, everything, if there's just one line you could say to sort of summarize it, to pass on to somebody else that wants to get involved with what you do, what would that statement be?
Well, that's a tricky one.
That's why I ask it.
Yeah, I know. But then, now I've got that golfer's mind on overrun because there's so many thoughts of...
Well, that's the thing, though. The whilst you're thinking, the context of it is that if you ask someone to summarize the one message they want to send to somebody that wants to get into what they do for a living, it focuses the mind to go, I've got to say, like, what is the most important thing, And then people come up with it and say it. So
I think
it's
just
over to you.
Yeah, at least I would say just initially, whenever you're confused and you have the ability to take the risk, take it. That's what I would say. Like, if there's nothing holding you back, just take it. The worst that can happen is you don't succeed at what you're trying to do, but then at least then you'll get clarity. So there, it's win-win on both situations. So that's what I'd say. Just go with what you want to do. That's how I'm still working and liking what I do, because I followed sport. And obviously I had support there, but yeah, I'd say just go with the flow and chase your dreams.
Fantastic. Ishan, thank you so much. It's been awesome. It's going to be a great episode, and thank you for coming down, and I wish
Thank you so
all
much,
the best.
Sam. It was fantastic. Thanks.
Beautiful.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you.